You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and the host of the Weekly Business Hour. Welcome. Glad you were able to join us today on the Weekly Business Hour. We've got a wonderful show lined up for you. But before we get started, I want to take just a moment to thank our show sponsor. Very important part of what we do is have our sponsorships, and Pearson & Pearson CPA has been very kind to be our show sponsor. If you're not familiar, Pearson & Pearson CPA, they're located in downtown Conroe. They will help you with your needs for accounting. They help clients maintain financial viability in the present while taking proactive approach to future goals. I've worked with these people. They're good people. And if you need a quality CPA firm to help you with your accounting, your taxes, or anything related to what the CPA does, take the opportunity and contact Pearson & Pearson CPA. Well, the Weekly Business Hours, where Montgomery County and businesses throughout the world come to talk about the latest in business news, ideas to improve your business, and to hear from some of our local business leaders on how they have found success right here in Montgomery County. And that's what we're going to do this week. I'll start off with a little thought for the week, and then we have a very special guest joining us today. Our local business guest is Alex Kory of Alex Kory Fitness. Alex will share her business story, which is a good one, and she will also give us some tips on staying fit while running our business. Also joining us today will be Dick Schissler, General Manager of Lone Star Community Radio, to update us on the business right here at Lone Star. And then at the bottom of the hour, we again have another very special guest, Krystal Vincent, the special education Conroe ISD program that Krystal works with. We'll talk about finding job opportunities for special needs young adults. And I'll close out the show as I do each week with the Silver Fox tip of the week. This week, what do you do when lightning strikes? So I encourage you today, sit back and grab your pad and pencil or your computer and get ready to take notes as we talk about business right here on the Weekly Business Hour. And any time during the show, if you have a question about your business or what we're talking about on the show, please email it to me. My email here at the station is rick, R-I-C-K, at irlonestar.com. I appreciate the emails, and I will respond. Well, our thought for the week, as promised, we'll start with that. And the thought for the week this week, I entitled very simply, Welcome. You know, every time we go to a business or go online and use a business, or we call a business for products, services, whatever, I guarantee you the most important thing at that initial contact is that the person who's reaching out as a consumer, as a client, as a customer, they need to feel welcome. And if you don't do that, if your business doesn't say welcome to the prospect or even existing customers, then you are way behind in building your business. Your business has to be designed to say welcome every chance it gets. Every time you have the opportunity, if you will, to touch a prospect or customer or client, you need to say welcome right there in the first few seconds. You're welcome to my business. This can take many, many forms. For example, online, does your website, that home page, right? Does it say welcome? Easy to use, good information. This is a great place to shop. Does your store, when I walk down the street and walk up, does the door, does the signage, everything indicate that I'm welcome in that business? The same thing is true even with service companies. Pick up a phone, you call a plumber. Person answering the phone, does it sound like they're welcoming you to the business? That they potentially can be a real good business to work with, and they will fix your plumbing problem. So keep in mind that you need to have your welcome sign hung outside of your business every day. You know, at this point, you might want to do a quick audit. Make sure everything about your business, including the people who answer the phone, your service people, everybody in your organization, in that first initial few seconds, which are so critical in building business relationships, they indicate by their tone of voice, what they say, what it looks like. It says welcome. New directions and opportunities, they're available for all of us who are open to change and open to improving our business. Also want to remind you at this point, we're on Facebook. So please like us on Facebook at the Weekly Business Hour page. Go to Facebook, like the Weekly Business Hour page, and set up an alert so that every week on or about Wednesday, you'll receive an alert that a new show has been posted. You can look at the content, see if something of interest is in the show, and then go listen to the show. Well, at this point, I want to check in with Dick here at Lone Star and talk about what's the business here at Lone Star this week, Dick.
I want to let your listeners know we're going to be broadcasting all weekend this weekend for the Conroe's Americana Music Festival happening in downtown Conroe, Texas. It's an exciting time for the downtown area for this weekend. It starts around 6 o'clock on Friday, and we'll we'll be broadcasting till Sunday till about 6 o'clock. So more information will be on this week for the Conroe's Americana Music Festival.
You know, the Conroe Americana Festival is really an important event for downtown Conroe, and I think it can be a great opportunity for the businesses here to show you what they're all about and welcome you. So I encourage you to take a look at this, and if you're a fan of bluegrass music, jazz, any kind of American music, look at it. They've got 50-plus bands, so have some kind of music that appeals to you. Well, at this point, the best part of the show, as I say every week, and that's when we have our local business guest in. This is an individual who has their own business. They started a business. They're here in Montgomery County building that business, and they are willing to share their business story. And today, as I mentioned earlier, Alex Kory of Alex Kory Fitness is here to share her story. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, you've got a great business story. You and I were talking about it before the show, and I want to kind of get into that. But first, let's tell our listeners, what is your business background? How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I guess we'll start with, I graduated Texas A&M in 2009 with a community health degree. Originally, I wasn't taking jobs that had anything to do with that degree. I briefly worked for a chiropractor, and then I worked at Exxon. I wasn't happy there. During that time, I met my husband, Bill, and he had suggested, why don't you come a little bit closer to home in the Woodlands, which I did. I worked for a State Farm agency, and he could really tell that I was very unhappy there. I was stressed out. I was bringing that stress home with me, and he said, why don't you do something that makes you happy? And luckily, we were in the position to where I could do that. So during that time working at State Farm, I started doing a boot camp class, and when my husband told me, do something that makes you happy, I said, I want to go work here. So I told the owner of the Body Specialist, I said, if there's ever a job available, I would love to come and work here. And the time was right. And one Saturday, I went in to do a boot camp class. And he's like, all right, are you ready to start working here? And I said, are you serious? Yes. I was so excited. And within 2 weeks, I was working there. I was training clients, and also I helped manage the studio, take care of inventory and all of that. And I enjoyed it. And then I felt like it was finally time for me to do my own thing. So Alex Kory Fitness was established about 3 years ago, but this January is whenever I went out and did my own thing, officially.
And just so folks know, you had when we were visiting, you pointed out to me that in college, even though you got a degree in community health,
Yes.
you also participated in physical fitness classes. Give us a little bit of that background too.
I did. I practically lived at the rec center at A&M. I became so close with my bosses there, Jared Wilson and Dayon Woosley. For Jared Wilson, I was a weight room supervisor, and I did that for about 4 years. On top of that, I was a group fitness instructor. I taught yoga, I taught kickbox, cycle, and then on top of that, I also did massage therapy. So I just loved being in the industry. I love what I do. It's such a positive atmosphere to be around.
Well, you know that, and you obviously were prepared. You've been in the position of doing what you do now, except you own your own business. What was it like, though, to step off and start your own business?
Of course, it's a little intimidating. Luckily, my husband's also a business owner, so I have him to lean on if I need advice, and I'm also surrounded by so many smart people that also own their own businesses. So it is a little scary, but there was something inside me that knew that the time was right for me to just do my own thing.
Well, you know, you're in a fairly, I consider in this area at least, a competitive business. I mean, there are personal trainers, there are gyms all around, particularly the Woodlands area where you're located. How do people differentiate, or how do they determine you're the one?
You know, sometimes it's just the atmosphere. A lot of people that are new to training, personal training, they find the big gyms so intimidating. So coming to a small studio, it's more one-on-one or two-on-one, and sometimes it's just me and the client at the studio. So there's no intimidating factors as far as people watching you.
Well, that makes a huge difference to a lot of people. I know when I started, as I mentioned to you, with a personal trainer, and I've worked out off and on all my life, but that was really something I got. I was paired, if you will, or met up with the right person, and it felt
Yes.
right, and it's been right. So that's obviously an important thing. You know, on a day-to-day basis, you also, since you're in business for yourself, and you're the owner, you're the employee, you're everything.
Yes.
The chief cook and bottle washer, as my dad liked to say. Uh, what are some of the challenges in your business?
Creating more business, especially as a new business owner and getting your name out there. Luckily, we have social media now, which in most cases is free. Uh, I would say that's the biggest challenge.
The idea that social media, I mean, how do you work social media to your advantage? I mean, like you say, there's so much of it. And I'm always asked by my clients and people, you know, okay, Facebook, okay, this, okay, but how do I make it work for me? What's your secret?
I don't know if it's a secret. I'm just putting myself out there. I've just started doing little videos, not of me, but of my clients doing the workouts and showing other people out there that it's not just like a super fit person that can do this. I have a 64-year-old client that can do so many things. So just showing those videos so that other people can relate to those clients and realize, okay, I can do this too.
Do you think videos really helped you in that area? I'm just curious because what I read is video is so important in social media today.
I think they are because most people are visual learners, and I feel like it really does help. I know I'm a visual learner, so seeing those videos and just seeing those reminders, okay, Alex Kory Fitness, she's doing this. Oh, that's a great exercise. I feel like it helps, at least me.
Well, I think it's a great thing in what you've done with that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, we've already run out of time here in the first segment. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Alex a lot about being fit, what you need to do to stay fit to be the best you can in your own business. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Pearson & Pearson is a certified public accounting firm located at 400 North Main, Conroe, Texas. The firm was founded in 1989. Our expertise ranges from basic tax to very complex tax, both federal and state, both individual and business, and not-for-profit organizations. We also provide services such as financial audits, reports, and litigation support. Call us at 936-756-2008. That is 936-756-2008. More information can be found online at pearson-pearson.com.
This is the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. Glad you've joined us today. We're in the studio today with a business owner, Alex Kory of Alex Kory Fitness, and we've been talking about her experience in starting her own business. And now I'd like to kind of shift gears if we can, Alex.
Sure.
Let's talk about your business. You're in the fitness business. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Now, what does that mean? What does it mean to be fit?
I think there's many different aspects to being fit. It's not just working out. It's eating. It's getting enough sleep. It's being hydrated. There's many aspects that come into being fit, in my opinion.
And there's so much written and so much available, TV, radio, social media,
Yes.
about fitness, about this, the latest diet, the latest this, that. How do you make sense out of it if you're a consumer and you're looking at all this?
You're right. It's very intimidating. And I don't claim to know everything. I know what works for me and I know what works for my clients. The most important thing is just tailoring your plan to each client, making it specific so that they're successful, because there's no two people that are the same.
You know, I think that's great that you pointed that out. We read a lot about personalized medicine. In fact, I was just reading an article last night about it, and I thoroughly agree with you on the fitness, and that's one of the keys to find someone if you want to get information or work, do physical workouts that can identify your strengths, your weaknesses, and make a program that fits you.
Yes.
That's interesting, and I think that's a great thing. Now, okay, I'm a business person. I sit behind a desk part of the day. I'm on my feet, whatever. How do you determine, or what would you generally recommend, or what are my needs if I really want to stay fit?
Getting up often. And I know from personal experience working at State Farm and working at Exxon, most people, the majority of the population in the U.S. are sitting behind a computer. So getting up often, taking those breaks, stretching so your hip flexors don't get tight, making sure you're drinking plenty of fluids, water specifically, or maybe like a green tea, keeping hydrated.
And these are things that are easy to do in an office environment as far as sitting there. Sometimes it's a little inconvenient to get up. I wear a Fitbit,
Yes.
and every hour it tells me to go take 250 steps. But it's just a little reminder.
Yes.
And it motivates me sometimes if I'm not in a meeting to get up and take a short walk. It's interesting like that. Well, if I came to your business and I was overweight and just didn't have a lot of energy, teach me how you would go through and process to identify what you could do to help me.
First, I would want to evaluate what you're eating. I would suggest to anybody to stick to whole foods. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure you've heard it before, if you stay on the outside of the grocery store and eat your fruits and your vegetables and your lean proteins and stay away from all the processed stuff. So that would be my first suggestion. And then I would want to evaluate what you are doing as far as activity and to start small. Somebody that hasn't done anything for a year or two, obviously you wouldn't have them do a high intensity circuit training. So just evaluating that person and what they should be doing specifically. Does that answer your question?
Well, absolutely. I mean, and it's interesting to me, and you picked up on that saying about the outside of the grocery store. Let me make an observation. The inside of the grocery store has got to be 10 times as big as the outside. It makes it hard.
It does. It does. And these companies are so good at advertising and making their food look so good. And down the cracker aisle and the cookie aisle, it's very, very, very intimidating and just, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's like they reach out and they're just calling you. I mean, it's just, again, physically go in a grocery store.
Yes.
The middle of the store, if you will, is really big compared to just going around the outside, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And so they've got a lot of things speaking to you,
Absolutely.
a lot of products,
Yes.
and a lot of advertising.
And I don't know if you've ever heard, if you go down a cereal aisle, if you've ever noticed the cartoon characters on the cereal boxes, if you look, the majority of their eyes are facing down to target children and just to call out to them saying, pick me, pick me.
Wow, that makes it really hard. Well, let's talk about the use, if you will, of a personal trainer in the actual physical exercise. I call it strength exercise. What are some of the things you do as far as you have a studio you work out of?
Yes.
What are some of the types of exercises and how do you work that?
We do a lot of strength. In a lot of cases, because the majority of my clients are busy moms, they don't always get their cardio in. So I like to incorporate strength training with a little bit of circuit training so we keep their heart rates up and they're also getting a little bit of that cardio in.
You know, that's something I've noticed with my trainer is that he, throughout the workout, I do cardio. I primarily, get on a machine like a bike or something, and he breaks every few exercises, strength exercises. And when I start, I have 5 minutes to start, and then after that, 2-minute little intervals about 4 or 5 times in the hour. Is that what you're talking about?
Something similar to that. We don't have too much cardio equipment right now at the studio I'm at, so I improvise. I will use a BOSU ball or we'll do some kind of drill on just the floor just to get their heart rate up, or high knees in place, burpees if they can do that, if their knees are okay.
Well, that's another area that I think a lot of people miss, and that is a lot of exercise, strength and cardio you can do at home. I mean, there's no excuse that, I can't get to the gym. I can't, it's hard. I know that personally. But what are some of the things we can do at home to stay fit?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I just wanted to put this in there. all my little videos on Facebook, my tagline is, where do you do it? Because you can really, like you said, do it anywhere with little to no equipment. So I've done things in my living room, just using my couch or using my fireplace, doing step-ups or glute squeezes or some kind of ab exercise. I can do any kind of workout, or not any kind of workout. I can work out anywhere with little to no equipment.
You know, and that's important too as we travel, whether it be for vacation. I believe you have to keep up your fitness even when you're on vacation. You know, you don't have to go crazy, but it's
Right.
good to do it.
Yes.
So you don't lose that pattern or synchronization that
Yes.
some people like me find very necessary in life. It's got to have a routine to it.
Yes, I'm very routine oriented. A great thing to travel with if you did want to incorporate a little bit of equipment, resistance bands are light and they take up little to no space. Also, furniture movers. You can do so many great exercises for upper and lower body with furniture movers. And one other thing would be a TRX band, which is a suspension system that you would hook up to your hotel door. And it weighs about maybe 3 pounds, and you can just stick that in your luggage and travel with that if you do a lot of traveling.
Well, let me ask you now, you got my curiosity up. Furniture movers, what's that?
They're made of plastic on the bottom, and above that there's like a little bit of rubber.
Okay.
They're typically round, and you put them underneath the legs of furniture if you're moving big pieces.
Okay,
You can-
I'm familiar with that
Okay,
now.
you can find them
So
at
I
Home
go
Depot.
into the hotel room and move all the furniture around?
That's funny. No, you would put them under your legs in some cases if you're doing a lunge. I could demonstrate later if you wanted me to show you. I actually brought some with me just in case. But there's a lot of great exercises that you can do with furniture movers.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's worth a whole video for sure
Yes,
right there.
no, I'm happy to show you.
Well, you know, you mentioned you post videos. Now, where do you do it? And kind of give us an idea. If I'm listening, I want to go look it up.
Instagram, I post them on Instagram, and Alex Kory Fitness on Facebook, I post my little videos. And typically they're no more than a minute long, and they're just short clips of my clients doing different exercises.
Yeah, and I think that's great because most of the videos I see are professionals like you doing the exercise.
Yes.
In your case, they're actual people like me
Yes.
that are trying to stay fit in business and whatnot, and you actually are able to get them to agree
Yes.
to put it out there for consumption.
Yes. I think it's important for other people to be able to connect with my clients and see that it's not just a super fit person working out, that anybody can do it.
Well, I think that's a great way to market and advertise your program. Use of a personal trainer. Teach us, if you will, what advantages that has if I'm trying to stay fit and for my business.
The biggest advantage is knowing that you're doing the right form, because the last thing I would want anybody to do is to get injured. So that's important for a personal trainer. And a good personal trainer is going to be your fitness coach. Not only are they going to be there for you an hour a day in training, but they're going to be there for you if you ever have any questions. Alex, should I eat this? We're going to this restaurant and I don't want to cheat. You know, can I have this? So I feel like a good personal trainer is there for you whenever you need them.
Well, let me ask you, which I have a personal trainer, what do you recommend to the average person, meaning in the average stage of fitness, they've got some room to improve, they need to develop new habits. How often should I plan to go see my trainer?
From experience, I feel like most of my clients see a change when they're doing at least 2 days of strength training and 2 to 3 days of cardio. Typically, you want to get 30 minutes of cardio a day, no less than 5 days out of the week, just to keep your heart healthy.
And cardio is fairly simple to do. I mean, you can ride a bike, you can run, you can walk. I mean, it goes on and on.
Absolutely.
So you can kind of do that on your own, but the training in the studio and access to equipment, which is easier than just doing it yourself or trying to do it at home. 2 days a week is what you minimum?
At a minimum, yes. That way you can at least target upper body one day and lower body the other day, and maybe incorporating a little bit of core or sending your clients home with a little bit of homework. So at minimum, 2 days.
And how long do these sessions typically last?
An hour.
So 2 hours a week is what you're asking, plus drive time.
Yes, for the average person.
I got you. Well,
Yes.
it makes sense. I'm doing 3 hours, but I'm in a hurry, so to speak. But it's a commitment. I mean, I build my
Absolutely.
calendar around it. In my case, I'm serious. I really seriously recognize the need for it. But I think that's wonderful. Well, let me ask you, the fitness industry going forward, personal trainers, what do you see happening in the future in the industry?
I think it's going to continue to grow. I mean, like it has so much. I don't even know. I'm sure it's a billion-dollar industry with supplements and training and gyms. I feel like it's just going to continue to grow. I see it in the Woodlands. People are just more aware of their bodies and I hate to say it, but we're very vain and we want to look good and we want to feel young and look youthful for as long as we can.
Well, one of the things I've read lately is these videos that are professionally done are sort of taking part of that business. People watch a video, particularly on cardio training, like on a bike or any spin class type thing. So do you see any changes like that are going to be, are the big gyms going to go away? What's going to happen, in your opinion, over the next 5-10 years?
I don't think big gyms are going to go away. I know me personally, I love going to a big gym. I feed off the energy there and the people there, and sometimes say it's a little bit of a social hour, but typically I get in there, I do my work, I might say hi to a few people, but I really don't foresee big gyms going away or small gyms, because a big gym isn't for everybody.
Well, we are going to have choices. Alex, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. It's been
Thank
a
you so
wonderful
much.
visit. You got a great business story. If people want to reach out and talk to you or communicate with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, they can call me. Should I give my number?
Absolutely.
It's 979-571-7334, or you can find me on Facebook and message me there, or email me at alexkory04@gmail.com.
And that's Kory is Kory.
Yes,
Want to
yes.
make sure, not
Thank
C.
you. Yes,
Alex,
Kory.
ALEXCORY.
Kory.
KRY. See, I did it. Glad we got that straight.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. I hope you'll stay with us because we've got a great guest coming in. Krystal Vincent with Special Ed of Conroe is going to come in and talk about how the Conroe Independent School District is preparing young adults in special needs situations to take jobs. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Pearson & Pearson is a certified public accounting firm located at 400 North Main, Conroe, Texas. The firm was founded in 1989. Our expertise ranges from basic tax to very complex tax, both federal and state, both individual and business, and not-for-profit organizations. We also provide services such as financial audits, reports, and litigation support. Call us at 936-756-2008. That is 936-756-2008. More information can be found online at pearson-pearson.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Show. And thank you again for joining us today. We're in our third segment of the show, and we have a very special guest and a very special topic to talk about. This is about a group of very special individuals that are available for hire. And I think at any time I get a chance to talk about people who can perform jobs, our job markets in many cases are very tight. And this is a particular opportunity, I think, that's just not many people know about. So that's why I asked Krystal to come in and talk to us today and make us aware of this great program. Krystal, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here today.
Well, I appreciate it. You're with Conroe ISD. Could you kind of tell us what you do in general?
I'm a special education coordinator for the secondary division, and one of the things that I oversee is the transition team here in Conroe. And we're here to talk about the training for employment piece that Conroe has to offer for our students.
Transition. So this is to transition young people from students into the job market.
That is correct. We are always searching for unpaid and paid employment for our students age 16 and up.
Okay. And that's really what I want the employers, the business people who are listening today. This is an opportunity, if you have the type of job, we'll talk about that, to employ people that you just didn't know existed. And I think this is wonderful. Well, give us a little bit of background on this transition program.
It is nothing new. I mean, it's been around for a very long time. It's part of the state of Texas, where we have to give our students the opportunity, if their transition in their plan, if they are wanting full-time or part-time employments, to give them the opportunity to get training and to be able to seek out that piece to be a functional adult once they graduate from high school.
So do you actually run an employment agency, so to speak?
In a little bit of a way, yes. And we have a whole transition team that helps us carry out those jobs.
And about how many people do you place in a given year?
That is a good question. Right now, we can place anywhere from 72. We place our resource, life skills students, and our trails, which is our 18 plus programming here in Conroe ISD.
So you place over 70 people
Yes,
annually in jobs.
correct.
And these are people that otherwise, probably would not have that opportunity at all.
That is right.
So to me, this is a great program. Well, talk to us a little bit about the training, what you do that is different, or how you train folks to transition.
Well, I'll talk about, we do a lot of assessments for our students to find out what they are good at and what their long-term goal and interest are. And so depending on what the student wants, let's say they want childcare, then we try to find childcare facilities and we give them the training necessary to gain the paid employment piece. In the job field, whether you come from the special needs line, they need to have, when you fill in that resume, that background, to have the connection, like I know how to do this job and do it well and do it independently.
You mentioned childcare. Do you have a hard time, I guess I'm looking for the word, hard time finding employers to kind of plug in and look at these folks?
We have a very hard time finding employers for our unpaid and paid employment aspect of our area. The reason is we need things like retirement homes, hospitals, daycares, because we have to look at the student. If they're wanting retail, we need retail facilities. We can only put so many students at a facility with a job coach, and they can only be at certain locations for a certain amount of hours depending on the Department of Labor. So, and we have to continually change out sites to make sure that we do not interfere with those hours from the Department of Labor. So we are always looking for new sites, because we do want to match the individuals with what they are seeking and what they want after graduation of high school. And we're hoping that these jobs, that they continue with these jobs, like many of our students have, so that they are able to be independent adults.
So just so the businesses business owners that are listening, you're putting these people in these jobs, you've trained them, and just so they understand, these people are qualified to do the job they're performing.
If it's unpaid employment, we are giving them skills to do it. If it's paid employment, they do have the skills necessary to do that job. So we seek in both areas.
So if you're listening today, again, I want to emphasize this again and again. These people that if you'd hired, and you mentioned, Krystal, as a paid position, these are qualified people for these positions. You're not just putting someone in and setting them up for failure.
Correct. We do transition surveys. We are putting them in jobs that they want. So if that student wants to do, let's say, retail, they have already done the unpaid employment part, meaning that they got hours under their belt doing the job, hands-on experience, and now we're looking for the paid portion of their job so that they can have that job to be a sustainable adult in society and contribute.
So if I'm an employer and I'm hiring one of these people, I don't really need to be overly concerned about that I'm going to have some kind of difficulty that I might not have with someone I hire off the street, so to speak.
No, not at all. We also offer our students, we have job coaches that are district job coaches that go in and transition them into the job at the beginning and give them the supports necessary to be successful in the job, because we don't want anything other than success for our students. We are trying to make sure that they are adults that can maintain employment and live as independently as possible.
I'm getting the impression, because I was an employer during my career with the businesses I started or bought and developed. That was probably the biggest overall challenge I ever had, was hiring good people, or getting the square peg in the square hole, so to speak. That was the way I always approached it. And it sounds like these people that you support and that you train and present to the employer probably have a higher degree of chance of success than just someone else off the street.
I would say yes.
That's very interesting. And again, employers, I'm not pushing, but this is a chance to find someone in certain positions that is well qualified, well trained, coached. I mean, how many people do you hire that have all those? It just doesn't exist.
Exactly. And at any point, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
If the business is having an issue with our student, they contact us and we send in our support again, because it might be a retraining of a certain portion of that job. And we go in and we retrain, because we are there to make sure the student is successful.
Now, how do you select? I mean, you mentioned you only have so many slots because of the lack of resources, so to speak, of businesses and things, and you have to comply with Labor Department rules, it sounds like. How do you select the students? that are able to participate in this program?
These students are advocated either self-advocacy or their teachers or through functional vocational evaluations. We have determined that this is what they want to do long term.
So they self-advocate.
Yes, some of them do.
That's very interesting. So they want to work, and again, that's a unique thing too. Sometimes they want to work.
Yes, they do. I mean, and they know how important it is to work in order to maintain independence as an adult.
Is that their main goal? Is really to be independent?
It is. They want to be independent. They want to take care of themselves. It's so funny to hear them. I want my own money. And we understand. I mean, who doesn't? And they want to be able to take care of their own needs.
That's wonderful. Now, most of these are students, have been students in the school district for some time.
They are all students of Conroe ISD from all of our high schools. Yes.
And they collectively come to you. Now, do you have a particular place that you work out of where you do training and whatnot?
We work out of the whole entire district. So throughout businesses, we do community training.
So basically, it's in the field. You do a lot of field training.
Yes, we have a transition team that sets out work schedules for our students, and we bus them to locations, and we work them there for the unpaid portion, and then we have another portion where they move on to the paid employment. So we help them set up the interviews. We help them make sure that they have the resume. Sometimes they might need a little coaching because, you get nervous. You're going to a job interview. What kind of questions are they going to ask? And so we'll do mock interviews to really get them ready and get them motivated and kind of boost their self-esteem so that they are successful when they go to that interview. And then once they're on the job, we have district job coaches that go out and provide the support to make sure that they're successful.
Well,
so it's a mobile.
It sounds like you're putting a huge amount of resources in to support these folks in the job.
Yes. I mean, when it comes to our students, we want them to be successful. And so if that's something that they're advocating, that's something that they need, we make sure that they have it.
And part of that success is to be someone, an employee that's productive and does a great job for their employer.
Correct.
I think that's really interesting. And there's certain, I'm amazed that I've never heard about this particular concept. One of my daughters is a special ed teacher, been 15 years, worked in Spring Branch District in a variety of positions as they move around. I think she's very mobile in what she does. But this is, to me, if I'm just a citizen of the county and realizing that these folks want to work, they want to, and you provide the training, you provide the support, it sounds like the coaching and all that this would be a great program if I was an employer, again, that had these type of jobs that they work at, a great resource for me to find these kinds of employees.
And most definitely. And when businesses contact us, we take the time to meet with the business and see what their needs are. And we look at those needs, and then we look at the needs of our students, and we match them because we want the business and the student to be successful. We want the business to be happy with whom they've hired.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned several types of jobs or businesses. You mentioned hospitals. What would one of your students, what kind of job would they have in a hospital?
There's anything from hospitality to delivering rooms and to cleaning, just whatever they have. We can even carve out jobs in a business if we go and we look at the needs of the business, but they might not necessarily have a position for that. We have carved out jobs for our students.
Now, besides the advantage to businesses of hiring someone who's been just well vetted, so to speak, for the job and trained and coached and things you normally don't get, what other advantage is there, if any, for the business to hire these folks?
The advantages is finding someone who's dependable, who's going to be there long term. It's not a short turnover. That's what they want to do for the rest of their life. And I know a lot of time businesses struggle with the turnover, the high turnover, and having to retrain employees. If you're looking for someone you want them to be sustainable and to be happy and be there for the longevity of the business, then we have kids for you.
Well, it sounds, and most of these jobs, if I can use it, are basically entry-level jobs.
Yes, most of them are. I can name some of the businesses that we currently have here in Conroe ISD, just to kind of give businesses the idea of what we currently have. We have the food bank, we have Legends, CC's, Texas Litter Control, Marshalls, Skeeters, Autumn Leaves, Hodges, Homewood Suites, Lone Star on 242. And then we rock the Spectrum Gym, and then We Feed Store.
So you got gyms, and you mentioned Marshalls. Is that the retailer?
Marshalls is the retailer. We are so excited to have them. We got them this year. It was a long process because, with a lot of corporate businesses, there's a lot of paperwork. that goes along with them. But they're happy to have us, and our kids are extremely happy to be there.
Now, give us an idea of what type of jobs they would have at Marshall's.
They have the same type of jobs as anyone else there. They go, they restock, they clean up. Once they gain employment there, they could be a cashier. It's whatever the business has. We train them in all the levels and all the areas on that site.
That's pretty interesting. That's a great opportunity for these students. And like you said, with a national company like Marshall's is, that has to be a wonderful connection for you to have made.
Yes, we're excited. When you look at these businesses, you think about all of the areas our students could work there. And that's why when we have a job site, let's say it's HEB, we're going to work in all the different areas that that store has so that that student is well trained in stocking, is well trained in cleanup, cashier, just whatever that area has.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm an employer. I've heard about your program, hopefully through this program today or word of mouth.
Yes.
How do I contact you to learn more about it?
You're going to contact the Special Education Department in Conroe ISD. We can be reached at 936-709-7671, and you would talk to the secretary. She would take your information. I would call you directly, find out what your needs are, and I would connect you with one of the members on my transition team, and we would go out to your business and talk to you and set you up with one of our students.
Give that phone number one more time so we're sure we have it.
936-709-7671. It's Conroe ISD Special Education Department.
Well, Krystal, I really appreciate you taking time, and you brought some of your staff here to support you. And this is a fabulous, and I've been an employer for 40 years. Fantastic opportunity to hire some people
Yes,
long term, as you mentioned. They check a lot of the boxes that are really an issue, particularly with entry-level people. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I think if people listening to this program need to reach out to these folks at Conroe ISD, call them, see if you have a job or a typical position in your company where they might be able to fill it and might be able to fill it for life, so to speak.
Sounds right.
Well, thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our final break of the day. I appreciate you being with us. And don't forget, this show is podcast posted every Wednesday. You can hear it on irlonestar.com website or on our Facebook page, The Weekly Business Hour. Stay with us, and we'll be right back with our tip of the week.
Pearson & Pearson is a certified public accounting firm located at 400 North Main, Conroe, Texas. The firm was founded in 1989. Our expertise ranges from basic tax to very complex tax, both federal and state, both individual and business, and not-for-profit organizations. We also provide services such as financial audits, reports, and litigation support. Call us at 936-756-2008. That is 936-756-2008. More information can be found online at pearson-pearson.com.
This is the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. Well, we're in our final segment of the show today, and I always like to leave you with some advice or ideas of ways that you can change and improve your business. And today I want to talk about a blog I wrote last week. What do you do when lightning strikes? Every business at some point in its life is going to get hit by lightning. There's no doubt about it, and I don't mean figuratively, but it's going to get hit by lightning. And is your business really ready for that? Many times businesses are, sometimes they're not. And if you're not ready, when the lightning comes, in whatever form it arrives at your business, you're going to have big problems. And what I'd like to do is talk about some things that you can do in your business to prepare for that lightning strike. If you accept the fact that you're going to get hit, then you need to analyze in your business that lightning can come from many different directions. So, what am I talking about? Well, the obvious one, natural disaster, lightning itself, a flood, fire, things like that can happen. Your business can be burned down or partially burned down. But other forms of lightning can be a key employee quits in the middle of your busy season. It goes on and on and on. What's important is you think about the lightning and what it can do to your business and try to prepare with in mind that you can't prepare for everything. And that's where running and building a great business pays off, because if you're doing what you need to do every day to build your business, hiring the right people, treating your clients and customers right. Have that welcome sign out like I talked about early. Building a great business allows you to prepare, and it makes you prepared for lightning that might hit you down the road. Let me give you an example. Insurance. I've talked to too many business owners that kind of brush off the insurance question. I mean, there's a cost. You never file a claim, so you say, why do I need to be bothered? I think having a good insurance agent like Chris Wee, who's been one of our experts on the show, it just makes all the difference in the world, because they will sit down with you, analyze your actual business, what's taking place, and if they're really good, they'll talk to you about your growth. They'll talk to you about your exposures. They'll look at what your budget would be for insurance, but they're going to give you advice and say you need this, 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 and this. Not really trying to sell you something. And again, I'm talking about a good agent, but they help to provide the protection and awareness that you need. So if you get hit by lightning related to insurance, one of your vehicles is in a crash, and unfortunately a number of people are injured or even killed. Do you have enough insurance, enough liability insurance to cover that claim? Otherwise, those people that have been injured or killed, their families, are going to be knocking on the door of your business at some point and potentially could take your business. And that's what I talk about, is what I'm talking about when I say be prepared. So a good insurance agent can help you analyze your risk related to your building, to your business, as far as your products, your services, all the different areas. And there are a lot of areas where we have exposure today where insurance can help us. So be aware of that. Other things in your business, it's interesting that when you sit down and you try to prepare your business, the area of employment, you have a process in place. You're hiring the right people. I mean, how important? I mean, how can you miss it? That is so critical, because if you take the time, and like the folks Krystal came in and Conroe ISD, you heard all the steps that they go through to qualify one of their special students to go out and be an employee for life. Well, you should be doing that within your business. You should have a process that brings in and places the right people, the best people in your business. This is one of the weakest areas, in my opinion, for most small businesses, is they really don't have a good, solid process in their business for hiring people. And again, that's just one example. We could go on and on. Again, my point is, be prepared. And if you follow good principles and business practices, you never can be bulletproof. But if you're vigilant and ready and have built a good business, then you should be able to withstand, adjust any type of lightning that might strike your business. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you taking time to join us today. And if you missed part of the program or you want to re-listen, don't forget, this program is podcast. And I also ask that you please put a note on your calendar to join us next Monday right here on irlonestar.com at 11 o'clock. We're going to have a very special guest next week. Barry Katz will join us to talk about his new concept restaurant that he's opening up in the Woodlands. In our expert corner, we're going to have another really special guest. Mark Miller, who I like to call Mr. Sales, will join us in the expert corner to share some of the key tips for selling your products or services. And don't forget, you too can sponsor the Weekly Business Hour. If you'd like to sponsor the program, it's very cost effective. Just contact me at rick@irlonestar.com for details. And again, that podcast, look for it on the Weekly Business Hour page of irlonestar.com or our Facebook page later in the week. Thank you for joining us today. And remember to stay in touch with what's happening in Montgomery County right here on Lone Star Community Radio. Until next week, stay engaged and keep your focus on what counts in your business. Thanks.
Thanks for checking out this recording from Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station and broadcasted live from Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. Interested in sponsoring this show, being a guest, hosting your own show? Then please visit us online at irlonestar.com and check out the Contact Us page. We want to say thank you to our studio supporters. Our traffic sponsor, Conroe Americana Music Festival at conroeamericanamusicfestival.com. For more information about the show, please check out the information below in the description.